Well, you're looking at live pictures there, and if you can make it out in the background, that's the Empire State Building, and there will be more white stuff for quite a while. Let's bring in Jeff Desnoyers, Fox 1 meteorologist, and we said it a little bit earlier, but for people who've been following, and for those of us who had to get kids from the early dismissal and stuff today, this thing's not tapering off. We still got a few more hours of this, right?
Yeah, I think the heaviest of snow is upon us now. We're getting through it, and I think until the midnight hour, you're looking at rates of snow of 1 to 2 inches per hour. The radar has really blown up. The low off the coast has just developed into a really intense low pressure in the last hour, and you're seeing those rates of snow increase. And they'll continue to increase for the next couple of hours.
So let's give an idea what we're looking at here, Jeff, and also, I guess, even going into tomorrow.
Yeah, the radar right now, some of the heaviest bands of snow, you have to remember it's not just our area that's getting hit. This goes all the way up into Boston, back into Providence. Hartford, Connecticut is getting heavy snow. Also into portions of Westchester County getting hit very hard, especially southern Westchester County, back into the city, all of Long Island, New Jersey, and this extends all the way back into D.C. You're talking about 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates. You're caused major delays at the airports, because it's not just the airports in our local area that are being affected. It's also Logan up in Boston, Dulles down in D.C., and you're seeing tremendous amounts of delays across the region. Also, the roads are very bad right now. With these heavy bands of snow, it's very hard for city officials to keep up with clearing the roadways. And what ends up happening is if you can just stay off the roads and allow these state officials to be out there setting up these convoys of plows, if the cars are in the way, you can't plow the roads. So it's very important to stay off those roads and continue to allow state officials to keep up the best they can with the snowfall rates.
To the layman like the three of us here, I know it's supposed to be cold in January in Minnesota and places like that, but the minus 50s, we saw it before, we're seeing it again. This is, if not an anomaly, for how long we're talking about, and this early in the season, right?
It's a little tough, because when you're talking about last cold spell we had temperatures colder in the lower 48 and even in our area than the North Pole. I mean, that's hard to think, and it's that polar vortex, the one that I can't stand. Everyone overuses the term completely. It's just a big old dome of cold air that's associated with the low pressure in Canada. That's all it is. And what happens is when it gets really strong, it pulls down all that cold air from the North Pole, and you get somewhat almost an inverse temperature pattern where the lower 48 is actually colder than the North Pole, and we're seeing that again. You know, the snow's the headline, but when we get done with the snow, the headline is the cold temperatures tomorrow into Thursday into Friday, where we're talking about highs struggling to reach 20 degrees. It's a little early in the season. That's more of a February pattern, especially towards the end of February.
When does it break, Jeff?
You know, the milder temperatures, we caught a break a little bit last week. We hit 40 a couple times, which was a big thing. But as we get into the weekend, there is a little moderation into Saturday and Sunday where we actually get above freezing into the 30s. That's still below where we should be for this time of year. We don't really see above average temperatures until maybe next week, the end of next week, when we start to see the pattern flip again.
I know the question people are going to be asking. Okay, in a couple Sundays from now, we got kind of a big game over there in Jersey. I know you guys hate to predict past 4 or 5 days here, but what are we looking at?
The models go that far out, and I'm very comfortable to talk about a forecast 2 weeks ago. I don't think I can't zero in and say it's going to snow at 5 p.m. on Sunday, but I can tell you that the pattern is very active up until that point. We do have some storms that we do have to kind of get through before that Sunday, but Sunday at this point looks dry.
Really, but cold.
Oh, but cold.
But cold.
Make it snow. Make it snow.
All right, and by now, everybody, you know the drill. If you don't need to be on the roads, don't be on them. We're going to wrap things up after this. Stay with us.